things heating up as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis aims to dethrone former President Trump as the clear leader in the polling. In his very first official campaign swing, Mr. DeSantis, a bit braggadocious, touting his conservative wins as governor in the party's de facto home base. As Kelly Meyer reports, he also took some shots at former President Trump. I mean, talking big. He's ready to dance with the former president?
Oh, yeah, Adrienne, I know we've been talking about taking the gloves off with the former president, but last night, they officially came off here. He is going in on former President Trump. Now, in the speech itself on stage, I counted about 5 subtle jabs at the former president, and he didn't mention him by name. It wasn't until the press conference afterwards where he really unloaded on the former president, especially when we asked him if he was going to take a more aggressive approach with Trump on the campaign trail. Take a listen to that.
If someone is saying that, I am gonna counterpunch. I'm gonna fight back on it. I'm gonna focus my fire on Biden, and I think he should do the same. He gives Biden a free pass. So I'm gonna defend my state. I'm gonna defend the people of my state, and I'm gonna defend what we've been able to do to really put points on the board.
Now, talking about putting points on the board, he spoke for about an hour. Much of that was focused on what he says he was able to accomplish in Florida, such as banning purchases of farmland by China, signing the heartbeat bill, a 6-week ban on abortion, appointing seven conservative justices, banning sanctuary cities and sending undocumented immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. But he says he was most proud of his stance in schools to, quote, educate, not indoctrinate, which he says a lot on the campaign trail. He is defending his decision to ban critical race theory from public schools. That's banning educators from teaching certain topics related to race, and also eliminating what he called gender ideology in schools. That's stopping schools from teaching gender identity or sexual orientation to kids. DeSantis adding that parents are going to, quote, rise up in 2024. Now, he also talked about some promises if he is elected president, saying he's going to take on the elites in Washington and deliver results head on. One voter we spoke with afterwards said he liked DeSantis' comments about Washington, about filling Washington, D.C. with more people from across the country that look like the rest of the country. And DeSantis talked about cleaning out the swamp, which is something we heard from former President Trump early in the 2016 days. Now, Trump did send out a message in an email to supporters right as DeSantis was starting his speech. He hit at DeSantis, saying that he is, quote, a failure for Iowa, and pointing to the lead that Trump has in the polls currently here in the state. Adrienne?
The lead in every state right now for Mr. Trump. I understand Governor DeSantis, he's facing criticism for how he handled that news conference. Why exactly?
Yeah, so after the event, he took the press back into a different room. There were some supporters set up somewhat kind of like a town hall so they could react to some of his questions. You heard that as they were laughing at one of the quotes he had there. He called off the names of reporters, about 6 of us. We were included in that. We had raised our hands, so I can confirm we had no idea the question. He was going to take our question, but he is getting some criticism from other reporters in the room that he had a pre-selected list of reporters to call on. And the Trump campaign also hitting at him for that, saying, quote, DeSantis is not ready for the major leagues. And again, we had no indication that we were going to be called on, so I can confirm that for the record. The DeSantis campaign is saying that they had no list of pre-selected reporters before or after telling us that.
But the rumors
Adrienne?
continue to swirl. Thank you very much, Kelly. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.